The fortified, sealed and reinforced tomb of a white witch. Tombs are final resting abode of humans. One sits calmly in the South America city of Montego Bay, Jamaica. Rose Hall Great House, to be precise. A mystic tomb. Rose Hall Great House is laced with history so long to relay. A reminder of the dark days of slavery, life in the plantation and leadership by the feared and respected. Yet it is graceful, symmetrical, almost serene area. But the citizens and visitors of this Jamaican city, Montego Bay, do not see any iota of serenity here. They see a warning feared and avoided tomb of Annie Palmer, the white brutal witch. This is the domain of the woman Jamaicans still call the White Witch. Her name was Annie Palmer, and her legend is stitched into the island's memory with fear rather than ink. She did not come to Jamaica innocent, coming from Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, at a time when the island terrified European planters. Haiti was where enslaved Africans rose up, where plantations burned, where African spiritual power proved stronger than colonial authority. It was also where Vodou flourished openly, unbroken and feared. Annie Palmer was raised by a Haitian nanny who had a deep understanding of Vodou and carefully initiated her into the magical practice. This woman did not just care for her, she led her into the dark realm of Vodou, teaching her the blood-jilting Vodou language that manifests utmost fear, the use of poisons, the sacred rituals of invocation, and the psychology of ruthless domination. By the time she stepped her feet in Jamaica, she was ready for the unknown tomorrow. People would later say she already understood how belief could be turned into a weapon and lived it inside out. When she married into Rose Hall, she brought the good, the bad, and the ugly of Haiti with her. Rose Hall was a slave plantation, like many others. But under Annie Palmer, it became something darker. Enslaved Africans whispered that she practiced obeah at night, blending African spiritual systems learned in Haiti with Jamaican traditions. They believed she summoned spirits, placed curses, and controlled life and death. In Jamaica, this was not superstition. Obeah was real power, carried across the Atlantic in chains and kept alive in silence. It works and leaves indelible marks. At night, in the middle of the dark, the terror became visible day after day. According to plantation lore, Annie Palmer dressed entirely in black and rode a massive black horse through the estate after dark. She would emerge suddenly from the shadows, silent and upright, appearing where no one expected her. Slaves working late or moving between quarters would hear hooves before they saw her, then freeze as she passed, cloaked, watching, untouchable. The message was clear. She was everywhere. Escape was impossible. The fear of Annie Palmer did what whips, coercion, or masculine brutality could not. She took slave lovers, not in secret, but as an extension of her power. One of these men, according to Jamaican oral history, dared to form attachments beyond her control. When his granddaughter angered Annie Palmer, the punishment was final. The child was killed, not in rage, Jamaicans say, but deliberately. As a lesson, no one belonged to anyone else. All life on Rose Hall answered to her. She must be obeyed. Disobedience ended in disappearance. Resistance ended in death. She ruled not just bodies, but spirit and souls. People believed she could stop a man's heart with a look, cripple him with a word, destroy families with a curse. This belief in a plantation controlled every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Her husbands fared no better. Annie Palmer married 3 times. Each husband died under suspicious circumstances. Poison, violence. A fall that no one believed was accidental, yet no one could explain. Each death left her wealthier, more powerful, and more feared. Among the enslaved population, there was no debate. She killed them, and she did not act alone. Rose Hall became a place where screams were said to echo long after death, where chanting carried on the wind, where shadows moved without bodies. Even overseers avoided the great house at night. The plantation ran on fear, and Annie Palmer cultivated it carefully. She was in charge, absolutely. Her end, when it came, was violent. Some say a slave lover finally turned on her. Others say the enslaved rose up together. What matters is what Jamaicans believe happened next. At death, she did not rest. When people of her status died, her tomb had RIP boldly engraved on it. Her grave, Jamaicans say, was fortified, sealed and reinforced, not out of respect, but fear. It was built to hold her down, to keep her spirit from roaming the plantation she once ruled. The belief is simple and chilling. If Annie Palmer were to rise, she would return to Rose Hall. This belief has never faded. Beneath Methodist hymns and Christian sermons, Jamaica retains a deep connection to African spiritual systems. People may not speak openly, but they believe quietly and completely. Obia explains what history cannot. It gives shape to trauma passed down through generations. Visitors feel it the moment they step inside Rose Hall. The air changes, voices lower, guides slow their pace, laughter becomes nervous. Locals do not linger. They know this is not just a story, it is memory. Rose Hall endures because it forces a confrontation with the psychological legacy of slavery. Fear was a tool, belief was a weapon, and Annie Palmer, shaped by Haiti, trained in Vodou, and unleashed in Jamaica, became the embodiment of both. As night falls over Montego Bay, and the great house glows pale against the dark, it is easy to understand why the story refuses to die. Some places absorb what happens in them. Some names cannot be buried. Rose Hall is one of those places. And the White Witch, Jamaicans of today will tell you, still rides at night. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out for more.